गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् ओम नमो भगवते रमणाय मृत्युञ्जयं मृत्युभियाश्रितानाम् अहं मतिर्मृत्युमुपैति पूर्वम् अथ स्वभावादमृतेषु तेषु कथं पुनर्मृत्युधियोऽवकाशः। So the fear of death. So, I am the body-mind. That is the illusion. I am the body-mind. Once that illusion is gone or is abandoned, death is no more fearful. It doesn't frighten anymore. It becomes part of living. Living and death are together. So we have seen that, and then we surrender. Out of fear, the fear has served a purpose if it inspires us to surrender, self-surrender. So mrityubhiya hetuna, because of the, what is the cause for the surrender? What is the reason for the surrender? So the fear of death is the reason for the surrender. Death need not be oneself, the death of the body alone. So all the things that we accumulate, they are also going to die. In fact, you see, a Mahatma, there are a few deaths for the Mahatma, a few deaths. He is dead to the world. One death. He dies to the world. What is the world? So, very self-centric or egocentric lifestyle. That is the world. And a Mahatma is dead to that. Also, a Mahatma is dead to the past. He is dead to the past. He lives in the present. For example, a person who has wronged, who has done a great injustice, who has wronged, who has abused, comes before the Mahatma. The Mahatma deals with that person as if nothing ever happened. This is what is called to die to the past. So Mahatmas die such a death. The worldly people die a different kind of death. Mahatmas die this kind of a death. So suppose I die to yesterday. Today will be very fresh and pleasant and wonderful it is. The present is always pleasant and very cheerful, the present. But because we don't know how to die to the past, the present becomes painful. Therefore, understand death correctly, then there is no reason to be afraid of death. But whatever it is, out of some fear of death or fear of loss, you surrender to the Ishvara, then so we have understood what is the surrender. So surrender is not a ritual, as I have already explained. You see, you have to understand, I am not saying anything against the ritual which is in the proper place, like Nitya Karma. You have to do it. Naimittika Karma, you have to do it. As long as one lives, one has to do many actions. And some of them are worldly actions. It's like you make a living and make some money, spend it and live a simple life. So many actions have to be performed. Similarly, some rituals have to be performed. Early morning you get up and invite the rising sun or offer something to God in a small altar at your home. These things are always there. Nitya Naimittika. Only certain rituals which are born of the greed of the human being. The devotee is greedy, therefore rituals are born. And the priestcraft is there. The priests are greedy, therefore rituals are born. Therefore it becomes a game of the priestcraft. So sometimes devotees are greedy and priests exploit it. And so New Year and New Year rituals are coming out of this situation. So that kind of rituals, and then just you develop into a habit of converting everything into a ritual and perform the ritual and wash off the hands as I described. I am only critiquing, not criticizing. Critiquing that kind of ritualism, not Nitya Naimittika. Okay, you have to understand that correctly. You see, I was looking at Vedanta Sara, a basic text of Vedanta. In the second paragraph, he tells Nitya Naimittika Karma Purassaram, Kamya Nishiddha Karma Vivarjana Purassaram. Like that, in the very second paragraph, he tells. What I was wondering, what Vedanta Sara people are studying. They at least a very basic book. You claim it is your foundational course for Vedanta. You look at what the guy is saying. So anyway, that is a different topic. Therefore, you surrender. Now, don't convert it into a ritual. Surrender is understanding. You understand that there is the one mover is moving everything, all around you and all within you, without and within. Everything that moves because of that one mover. We have a proverb in Telugu. Even a tiny ant will not take a step forward unless it is granted by Shiva, the prime mover. Shiva means the prime mover, not some gentleman sitting somewhere. So this kind of humanization of divinity is another huge problem. Humanization, there is a name for it. Extravagant humanism, that is how it is called by sociologists. Means you convert gods into humans. Instead of humans discovering their godhood or godhead, godliness, you remain a human base. Base means very desiring and frightened, and pull the gods to your level. Extravagant humanization. So you have a birth date, therefore God also has a birth date. You don't like death, therefore don't talk about anything about death. Then you have you marry a lady, sometimes more than one lady. Humans, you know. Nowadays it is banned, it is illegal for humans to marry more than one woman in India. But gods, this ban doesn't apply to gods. Gods can marry more than one woman. Kya baat hai? And then we have children, so gods also have children. We have sibling issues. These gods also have sibling issues. We celebrate the birthdays of our children, so children's birthdays are also celebrated. And sometimes the wife and husband fight with each other. Gods also do the same thing. Extravagant humanism. It is not good. It is not good for the religion. Religion becomes a laughing stock that way. Anyway, so you have to steer clear of all these elements of the popular religion. You have to learn what is Vedantic religion. That is a topic by itself. One of these days I may discuss it. So you have to follow Vedantic religion, not the religion of the masses. So in Vedantic religion, an act of understanding is a religious act. I told this on the day one. Now I am repeating. Suppose you understand clearly that the one prime mover is moving everything without as well as within. You understand that. That act of understanding is an act of religion, is a religious act. And in that understanding there is surrender. Once I'm giving a recap, morning class recap in the afternoon class. Okay. Once that surrender happens, now what happens then? Purvam, the very first thing that happens as a consequence of this surrender is ahammatihi mrutyumupaiti. That is the statement. Now we have another topic before us. Same verse is the same, but topic is a different topic. What do you mean by the me sense? Take it like that. Ahammatihi. Translate it as me sense. You see, this translation, you should not translate word to word. Aham, I, matihi, mind, I, mind. That is not the way to translate these things. Like son of the soil, soil is earth, of yokka, sun. So like that is not how you translate. The spirit of the poet has to be first understood. Then only you should translate. Ahammatihi is to be translated as me sense. The me sense. What is this me sense? Once I showed a model back in US, in one of the classes I showed a model. And some of the Swamis there told me, Swamiji, this model is very interesting, like that. I wanted to show that model, but now I don't have the item with me. The item is this spindle, the string which is made into a spindle, a small spindle of a string. Generally, it is called spindle, right? The spindle will have some cotton, not cotton, will have some cardboard thing kept there to hold the strings. But now I am looking at a spindle without any such inner thing. Okay? It can be there like that. Sometimes they put one cylindrical cardboard thing and spin around that. Sometimes it can hold itself. You just spin like that and it will. That is the model. In that model, you see a cylindrical space created by the string going round and round and round. A cylindrical space separate from the whole space. Right? That is what the string going round and round creates. It doesn't create, it looks like that. You cannot make a piece out of space like that. Space is indivisible. You cannot divide a space. But it looks like that. Now suppose you remove that string in the reverse direction. You spin it and remove it. What happens to the cylindrical space? It merges in the whole space. That is the model. So you look at yourself. You create the me sense, which is entirely artificial and unreal. The me sense. This me sense, it is those with whom the me sense is very prominent, very strong. These people, they are described variously as self-centric, egocentric, arrogant, haughty, so hot-headed. In all such words, such people are described, in whom the me sense is very strong. Me. So the me sense, that is the ahammatihi, it is the center and a circle. The moment I said center, there must be a circle. Without circle, there will be no center. And when there is a circle, there must be a center. And when there is a center, there must be a circle. So, if the me sense is the center, mine sense is the circle. So, the consciousness is there. It is like a space. But in this consciousness, this mine sense means my body, my property, my wealth, my money, my career, my degree, my job, my wife, so that you can dominate the lady. That is what the meaning of my wife is. My husband also could mean like that. Okay. So, and then my guru, so that you can exploit the guy. And then my shishya, so that the guru will exploit the shishya. The mutual exploitation. And then my religion, superior to other religions. My garden, more beautiful than other gardens. My children, there are millions of children, they do not matter. My children. Okay, this is how human mind works, that is how people live. So I am not criticizing, don't think I am criticizing. You should know the difference between criticism and critique. There is a difference between the two. Critique is what we do in Vedanta, not criticism. So I hope you understand that. Therefore my land, my property, my career, my promotion, so it goes on and on. The spin, as you spin and make a circle, the center in between. You live in, you are that center. You live in that circle. That is where you, my God, my caste, and my caste God. In India, caste gods are there. Like Brahmanas are a caste and they have their gods. Veda Purushaha, Dakshinamurtihi, Shivaha. Then Kshatriyas are there. They have their caste. Vishnu is a Kshatriya god, I tell you. Really, rich man's god. Shiva is poor man's god. Vishnu is rich man's god. Yeah, if you want to get a Kalyanam for Vishnu, in Tirupati, you have to shell at least 100,000 rupees, minimum. A rich man's god. Then Vaishyas have a Kanyaka Parameshwari. That is Vaishya's god. Wherever you go, Kanyaka Parameshwari, there is a Vaishya community here. Like this, Kuladaivas, Grama Daiva. So, the guy goes to the village to worship the god of the Grama. So, like this me, mine, God is not to be divided in so many ways, But it is done, that my God, my caste, spin and spin and spin. Make a center, and you make a circle, periphery, and you are the center, and live in that circle. Right? You live in that circle. Suppose you come from New York to New Delhi, so New York to Rishikesh. You don't leave the circle and center there and come here. The entire circle with the center comes here. rolling it comes here. My aeroplane ticket and come here. And from here Uttarakashi, the circle and center goes to Uttarakashi. Okay? This is how people live. That is the ahammatihi. Now I suggest you are living in a prison. You are not free. Because you are living within that circle as a center. You are not free. You may have a bigger circle. Like what happened, in Hyderabad, there used to be a state prison where I live. Today where Gandhi Hospital is there used to be jail called Mushirabad Jail. Now the jail became very, very congested. Many inmates are there. And the city is also expanding. Therefore, what they have done, they shifted the jail to a suburb called Charlapalli, where they have taken a vast land of 100 acres or so, put a compound wall, and then made a jail. And all these inmates were shifted there. They were celebrating because they are now going into a new home. Graha Pravesha Muhurtam. Really? And now the cells are a bit wider cells. Okay, and evening they can walk in a bigger courtyard. Whereas earlier it was very narrow. Now they can walk in a bigger courtyard. Now they eat organic food. So once I went there as a guest to all our friends, and I was having lunch. They offered me lunch, organic. They told me, Swamiji, organic food, vegetarian, go ahead and have it. And then one person was sitting beside me. I asked him, since how long you are in the jail? 12 years. Oh, are you going to be released? Yes. After 3 more years I will release. 15 years. So your punishment is for 15 years. Yes, sir, it is not 15 years, it is life imprisonment. But in India, life imprisonment means 15 years. Indian penal code is very soft. It is not harsh at all. So life imprisonment means 15 years. Then I casually asked him, what did you do? I murdered one person. That's so you murdered a person? Yes, sir. 12 years back. Now I will not do any such thing. Okay, good. So this is how we live a life. In a jail. That center is that circle is the jail. You live a life in a jail. You don't know what is freedom. You means we live like a prisoner living in a prison. No, we have freedom. Yeah, prisoner has freedom to walk in the yard, but he is always a prisoner. He may get a larger yard, he may get a better building, he may get more comfortable room, he may get better bathrooms and all the rest of it, but he is still a prisoner. As long as there is a center, there must be a circle. Means there is a limitation of that inner space. The space of consciousness is now constricted and you move in that space, and therefore the center can never be free. It can never be free. There is so much joy, rejuvenation, vivification in sleep. Why? Because that center is absent in sleep. That center is not there. When center is not there, the circle is not there. You are one with the infinite in sleep. The moment you wake up, as you are waking up, still there is no center, no circle. But then the body comes to light. Instantly you identify with the body. And then my house, my wife, my children. Now the prison is on. Like even in the prison, the inmate, when he sleeps, he is not a criminal anymore. He becomes a criminal undergoing prison punishment only after he wakes up. So similarly, we wake up into a prison house called me and mine. So what happens is, people, they believe that they love, the love is hedged. It is attachment really. And there may be some love also. They take the house as the boundary of love. House is the boundary of love. Means I love my children. I love my house. I love my wife or my husband or my parent or whatever. And I love my religion. All other religions are worthless. I love my garden. I love the rose which was grown in my garden. So like that. Like today we had lunch in which the curry was made from the vegetables grown in our garden. So what difference it makes? What difference it makes? No, this is, Swamiji, this is grown in our garden. I listen and keep quiet. I don't say anything. So, that is the prison house. That is how people live. So, as long as there is that center, the ahammatihi, there is no freedom. Because along with the center comes limited space, mind. And you move in that limited space. And now I am coming to the point. The center has created time also. When it creates a space, it creates a time. Right? When you say my job, you have created time. When you say my house, my career, my house you keep aside, my career, you have created time. When you say my marriage, you have created time. because marriage is limited in time. It happens and it ends also, in one way or the other. And a lot of this mind creates a space, limited space, and you are obliged to move within that space only. And along with the space, you create time. And therefore, you create the center, me, ahammatihi, it creates a space and it creates a time of its own. Like, my space and my time is not the same as your space and your time. They are different. My circle is different from your circle. And so we create a space and a time. In that center, in that limited space, we live. We become slaves to that space and time. So this is how we live a life in which we are bound to house, property, to family, and then to community, then to religion, then to culture, my culture. Culture first, my culture. Our culture is superior to other cultures. So like that. And so on and so on. This is ahammatihi. I have described ahammatihi. Now a question is asked, a question arises. Is it possible not to have a center and live in this world? This is a world, India, 130 crore people are living. And so there is a lot of insecurity born out of such a huge population. And therefore, the me and mine becomes even more pronounced than in the West. People are more insecure for obvious reasons. So this is how we are living. But the question is, okay, you have described the ahammatihi, all right, but be practical about it. What is the pragmatic approach? The question arises, is it possible at all not to have a center and yet live comfortably in this world? That is the question. Means, I dismantle the mind. I dismantle the mind. Shall I show you how I dismantle it? My religion includes the entire humanity. I do not discriminate between Hindu, this, that, no discrimination. The entire humanity is one religion, Vedantic religion it is. Therefore, I have dismantled already one mind. My caste, humanity is the caste. There is no other caste. Na varna, na varnashramachara dharmaha. Shankara. Dismantled. Okay? Na me mata, na pita, na janma. Shankara. Dismantled. Okay? You go on dismantling. Unwind the strings. Go on dismantling. And then I live in a house. I don't live in my house. I live in a house. That is the truth with everybody. People live in a house, but they call it my house. The moment you called it my house, you have converted the house into a prison house. You are a prisoner now. So, psychological prisoner. Sometimes physical too. Whatever is psychological, it spills into physical arena also. Therefore, so this is how we live. So while living in this world, like doing our job, doing everything, all the things of the life, the nitya naimittika karmas, that is what I mean. Performing all the duties with tremendous vitality and yet without a center. Yet without, there is no center means there is no mind. There is no mind. Even the body is not mine. Mind also is not mine, it's a mind. Body, it's a body. There are bodies and bodies, one more body. Mind, consciousness, no mind, no center. When there is no mind, there is no periphery, and then there is no center. Is it possible to live like that? Is it possible? Is it utopian thinking or is it practical, pragmatic? It is possible. This is the glory of that self-surrender. When you surrender and understand clearly in no uncertain terms that one prime mover, Shiva, moves everything without and with him. Everything happens by the will of the higher power. Everything happens by the will of the higher power. I could come to Rishikesh because of the will of the higher power. So earlier I could not come to Rishikesh again because of the will of the higher power. I took a class which was appreciated, will of the higher power. Sometimes it is not appreciated, will of the higher power. Somebody says something true or untrue again about me, will of the higher power. Somebody praises, somebody censures. Everything is a will of the higher power. There is no mine, there is no me. Still, you see, people have a doubt. Suppose they ask these questions. Without desires, can we live? When it is told in Gita class, some simple thing is told, Papa, give up the desire. Can we live without desires? Then the answer is, you cannot live without groceries. Without desires, you can live. Without groceries, you cannot live. Right? To live, you need desires or groceries. So, in fact, having all the groceries, you have an unhappy life because of desires. Therefore, is it possible to live in this world, in this society of 130 crore people, and doing a job, doing all the duties with vitality, with enthusiasm, yet not having a center, yet not having a periphery, and hence not having a center? Is it possible? Now, it is not that I am the Acharya who gives the judgment and you are the followers, you will follow it. That model is the worst possible model. In that model, there is no learning at all. We only have head nodders, no learners. That model is a bad model. The model is, I am asking the question, the speaker is putting the question, posing the question to you, and you pose it to yourself. You investigate in yourself. You be a guide unto yourself. The Shastra puts a torch in your hand. In its light, you walk the walk. Okay? Therefore, you have to ask this question, and should not be in a hurry to answer. Suppose you ask your wife, is it possible to live without me and mine? She will say, hey, shut up, what are you talking? It is not possible. Shut up, don't raise this question. Wife or husband, whatever. So it is not done like that. Okay? You don't consult others like that. This is not a thing to be consulted. So it is like once one person told Swamiji, myself and my wife will come to meditation. I said, you come to meditation. No, my wife also comes. Okay. She too can come. No, we will do meditation together. There is no such thing. In meditation, you are single. Okay? Therefore, you don't consult like that, In Vedanta, So, Swamiji, we will do course, Vedanta course we will do, and after finishing the course, we will get married. Look at that. I say, go and get married, Appa. You don't need a course. Vedanta course. You better do a computer course or a kill or whatever. Why you don't want to do Vedanta course for getting married? Amazing, Swamiji, me and my wife, we want to take to sannyasa. Please give sannyasa. But you should give both of us on the same day. क्या है वेदांत ये क्या है ये some tamasha ban gaya. Therefore, anyway, I have digressed. Coming back to the point, You ask the question, is it possible for me to live without this periphery and without this center? So, now, suppose you ask that question. Anyway, now that we have to come to, I have to complete the class. Yes, yes, it is possible. Okay, from my side, I am saying it is possible. So, you see, I am drinking coffee. I am drinking coffee. I am not drinking my coffee. I am just drinking coffee. That is enough, you know. Start like that. In small steps you start and move forward. Okay? Therefore, then somebody asked me, Swamiji, is there a method to get rid of the center? Is there a method to get rid of the center? You see, suppose I say there is a method, then I already created time. Center is creating space and time and becoming slave to space and time. And therefore now you want a method. Method belongs to time. Students of Vedanta should understand that method belongs to time and the truth is timeless. Okay? And therefore a method is no good. It is not the method. So, you see, you must be able to see it. You must be able to see it. It is like asking, is there a method to end sorrow? Is there a method to end sorrow? No. Sorrow will never come to an end. Suppose you see the meaninglessness of the sorrow. See. You see in the present moment, which is timeless. Seeing is timeless. Doing is time. In seeing, time is not created. Psychological time. Are you following? I am not talking about that clock, chronological time, psychological time. In seeing, there is no time. In doing, there is time. Therefore, when you see the meaninglessness of sorrow, the sorrow comes to an end. Similarly, when you can see the utter ignorance of this center, mind, you say my caste. Examine that. What do you mean by my caste? How do you know which caste you belong to? How do you know? All second-hand thing it is. People are second-hand people. Not one thing which is first-hand. Any one of you, challenge any one of you. Tell me one thing about yourself which is not second-hand. Challenge. If you, I am, is all that you can tell. More than I am, which includes I know that I am. Sat Chit. That is your innermost experience it is. From that you give an answer. Other than that, challenge. Tell one thing about yourself which is first hand. Therefore, when you see that, when you see the caste is a label, second hand. And suppose I ask you, you worship Krishna. Why do you worship Krishna? What is the reason? Did you ever ask this question? I suppose not. Suppose you ask that question. You know what is the answer would be? You may be afraid to tell the answer. Let me tell the answer. The answer would be, because my parents worshipped Krishna. And if I don't worship, they will scold me. That is also there. In the childhood, we were doing Sandhya Vandanam because when we don't do, parents used to scold us. And in fact, they put a rule. Unless you finish Sandhya Vandanam, no food will be given to you. Okay, now we know. What is the rule? What is this? How to know whether Sandhya Vandanam is finished or not? You know what is this thing? So put it, wet one, and by the time it is dried, now it is the proof that we have finished Sandhya Vandanam. Come on, give the food. Serve the food. Then my mother used to say, when did you finish it? Your father will do for 30 minutes, you will do it in 3 minutes. When did you finish it? Then I used to say, hey, don't ask such questions. I finished. Look at my face. Come on, serve the food. So like that. That's why we were doing it. You are no better than that, I tell you. Then it becomes a habit. So there is nothing like my God. You are just imagining. My culture. What do you mean by my culture? My music. My music. My music. You don't say my music. Our music, you will say. So my state, this, all this my. I gave some benign examples, and therefore it is possible when you see clearly, it is possible to dismantle this center under the circle. It is possible to dismantle. And so the mind, you observe how the mind is operating, how it is building the center, how it is building the circle, how it is becoming a prisoner of its own, like the cocoon. You know, the koshakaraha, the cocoon. It builds, that a small creature builds a cocoon and gets trapped inside and dies. That is how it is cooked, and it dies. So that is how we live. So it is possible to dismantle when you see clearly, when the mind becomes alert and extraordinarily sensitive, like my caste. Then you have that extraordinary sensitivity to ask, what do you mean by my caste? We're all the same human beings. Suppose you go to a doctor's office, he will not, blood he has to take. He will not ask which caste you are. He will ask which group you are. A, B, C, D, something like that. So, therefore, what nature has, blood groups it has. What you have in your head, some caste, or creed, race, religion, regional identifications. So all this, when you see the utter meaninglessness of it all and understand samasarveshu bhuteshu, so that sameness and that Catholic thinking, Catholicity they say it, not Catholic religion, so that universal thinking. So when you see it, then you also see the way the center is being built by the ignorant mind. How out of ignorance the center is being built, a circle is being built. You see it by observation, by observing the movement of thought. So you become very sensitive to that movement of thought. And in the process, the thought becomes very clear and pure. And the center slowly dissolves at the center, the circle, the periphery. And then there is no center anymore. Without periphery, there is no center. All this is said in Gita. I put it in a model. Gita says, Nirmamo nirahankaraha sa shantim adhigacchati. Very simple. And interestingly, with that, the Gita teaching is over. This is the last but one verse of the second chapter. Esha brahmi sthitihi. So with that, the teaching is over. But Arjuna asks one more question, therefore something more starts. So nirmamaha, so mine, the circle, dismantle it. You can dismantle it. This is the model. Unwind. You have wound it and created a cylindrical space. Now unwind it. The cylindrical space merges in the whole space. So nirmamaha, unwind it and unwind it. Nirahankaraha. Therefore, the center vanishes. Nothing else changes. You remain the same person. You will have the family, your bank account will be the same. Nobody will take away your bank account. And your ID card, Aadhaar card, everything remains the same. And the airport people, the train people, everything will be same. You will be doing your duties also, your regular prayers, etc., your duties to parents, wife, children, you will be doing everything. Now you will be doing it with more vitality. Tremendous vitality will come into your life. You see, people don't know how to be selfish in the right way. Be selfish by all means, but be selfish the right way, not the wrong way. Building the circle and being the center is not the right way of selfishness. It is the wrong way of selfishness. The right way of selfishness is dismantle the circle and the center vanishes. Now you are all. That is the right way of being selfish. And therefore, it can be done. You can do it. So when you do that, the ahammatihi purvamupaiti mrutyum. When you accomplish that that self-surrender, shritanam, when you accomplish that self-surrender, so the egoity, ahammatihi, it dies first. It dies. You are afraid of death. Approach the Lord of death. Still death is there. Now what is it that dies? The center, the egoity, the egocentric consciousness dies. Ahammatihi mrutyumupaiti purvam nashangachyati. So then when the me, the center is not there, the mind is not there, then what happens? You revert to your natural state. Athasvabhavat, the natural state. You see, there is a water in a pool or a pond, very placid. You disturb it and leave it. And then what happens? It reverts to its natural state. Water takes some time to revert to its natural state. Suppose you have honey in a cup and disturb it and leave it, then it reverts to its natural state very quickly. Honey, very quickly it goes to natural state. Water takes a little more time because of viscosity things. Air, if you disturb, it will take a longer time to settle down. So therefore, when similarly with people also, it may take some time probably. So when the mind is dismantled, carefully you dismantle. Every single time you dismantle the mind, you grow. Grow out of caste consciousness or caste identification. Grow out of very sectarian identification. People are very sick. They study Vedanta and become more sectarian than ever. That is not Vedanta. So study Vedanta and say, we belong to this group. You are a different group. You go there. Don't come. That is not... the Vedanta has not done a good job. It is like you give the medicine and the fever increases. So sometimes it happens, you know. So therefore you dismantle the mind. Gradually you dismantle. The me vanishes. Then you revert back. Back to your natural state. What is the natural state? Divinity. That is your natural state. Tattvamasi. You become deathless. Athasvabhavat amruteshu. Svabhava is the natural state. Your natural character is amruta. Deathlessness. There is no death for you. You should know that. There is no death. So, but I am a bit surprised. Suppose I go to the world and I go to a hospital or some public place or a group of people in a college or a university and tell them you don't have a death. They will put an askance in the face. Hey, what are you talking? What do you mean? What kind of thing you are speaking? I can understand that. But when I say to a group of Vedanta students that you are not going to die, there is no death for you, they put an askance too. Arey Appa, what happened to you? Are you listening for the first time that you are deathless? You are not, you are deathless? You are not going to die? Don't you know that? No, Vedanta Sara did not say that. Maybe it said it, you see it properly. No, Tattvavidananda did not say it. Maybe I don't know Tattvavidananda said it or not. All these definitions are not in my mind. So, Gita said it. So, Gatasu nagatasunshcha nanushocanti pandita. Natvanneme janadhipaha. I am not going to die, you are not going to die, all these people are not going to die. Shri Krishna says it in the battlefield. My God. You have to, that is the battlefield. So, in the battlefield, you go into some different direction. That is not, the battlefield is the symbolic. So, there is death all around, but there is no death to you. So, a person, these kind of questions I encounter all the time. So, somebody asked me, Swamiji, my father died, so what happened? I said, you tell me what happened. Father died. Then what did you do? You took the body and cremated it. Over. Now you tell me who died. My father died. No, your father did not die. The body died. What is your father, you tell me? What is your father? Is he the body or is he the consciousness? If he is the body, then you have incurred the sin of killing the father, because you have burnt the body. No, I did not incur any sin. Good. Therefore, body is not the father. Therefore, death of body is not death of the father. Then, death of consciousness. Now, your father's consciousness, what kind of consciousness it is? You tell me. What consciousness could it be? It is human consciousness. Now, what is your consciousness? What is my consciousness? What is the consciousness of all these people? Human consciousness, look at it. The glory of human consciousness everywhere. Human consciousness doesn't die. Then what is it that died? When the bulb fuses, what is it that died? The grid doesn't die. You see, I don't give stock answers.